Every confession begins the same way, with a secret, a regret, or a truth someone wishes they could take back. Tonight, you'll hear one of them. This is Confessions After Midnight. 3 months after my wife's funeral, I found a birthday card hidden in the back of her closet. At first, it didn't seem important, just a white envelope tucked inside an old shoebox, the kind of thing most people would throw away without thinking. I almost did. Then, I saw what was written on the front. To Lily, on your 15th birthday. I stared at it for a long time, because my wife and I didn't have a daughter named Lily. We only had one child, a son, and my wife had never mentioned anyone named Lily. Not once, not in 16 years of marriage, not in 20 years of knowing her. Yet somehow, she had written a birthday card to a 15-year-old girl, and the date on the envelope was 6 months in the future. The worst part? When I opened it, the first line said, "I know your father still doesn't know about you. My name is Daniel. And until 3 months after my wife's death, I thought I knew everything about the woman I married." I was wrong. People think funerals are the hardest part. They're not. The hardest part comes afterward, when everyone leaves, when the phone stops ringing, when the casseroles stop arriving, when the world expects you to continue living. Sarah died at 42. A brain aneurysm, no warning, no second chance. 1 minute she was laughing at something stupid on television. The next minute she was on the floor. 3 days later, she was gone. Just like that. People always say life is short. What they don't tell you is how brutally fast everything can change. For months after the funeral, I moved through life like a ghost. I went to work, made dinner, helped my son with homework, paid bills, pretended everything was normal. But nothing felt normal, especially at night. Nighttime was the worst, because that's when I reached for her and remembered every single time. The closet remained untouched for almost 3 months. I couldn't do it. Couldn't look through her clothes. Couldn't smell her perfume trapped in the fabric. Couldn't face the reality that she wasn't coming back. Then, one Saturday afternoon, I finally forced myself. The first hour wasn't too bad. Sweaters, shoes, scarves, old handbags, memories. Then, I found the shoebox, hidden behind winter coats, almost like she'd wanted it concealed. Inside were photographs, letters, birthday cards, receipts, hospital records, and that envelope, the one addressed to Lily. The moment I opened it, my life changed. The handwriting was unmistakably Sarah's. I would have recognized it anywhere. The card read, "Happy 15th birthday, sweetheart. If you're reading this, it means I couldn't be there. I wish things had been different. I wish your father knew the truth. Most of all, I wish I could have watched you grow up." I stopped reading. My hands were shaking. Father? Truth? Grow up? What was this? Who was Lily? I reread the card 5 times, then 10, then 20. Every time hoping I'd misunderstood. I hadn't. Someone out there existed, someone connected to my wife. And somehow, I knew nothing about her. That night I remembered something strange. 16 years earlier, before we got married, before we bought our house, before our son was born. Sarah disappeared for nearly 3 months. At the time, she said she needed space, said she was dealing with family issues. I believed her. Why wouldn't I? I loved her, trusted her, never questioned it. Looking back now, that disappearance suddenly felt different. Because when she returned, she seemed changed, older somehow, sadder. Like she'd experienced something she couldn't talk about. I asked once. She told me it was complicated. Then, she kissed me, and I let it go. I wish I hadn't. Inside the box was a photograph, an old photograph. The edges were worn, the colors faded. It showed Sarah sitting on a hospital bed, holding a newborn baby. At first I didn't understand. Then, I realized something. The date. The photo was taken during the exact period she disappeared. I felt sick, because there was only one explanation. Sarah had given birth. and she never told me. The next few weeks consumed me. I became obsessed. Every evening after work I searched records, addresses, documents, anything. At first I found nothing. Then I discovered a name. Lily Matthews, 15 years old, living 3 states away. The age matched, the timeline matched, everything matched, except one thing. The birth certificate listed no father, only Sarah. I sat staring at the document for almost an hour, trying to process what it meant. My wife had carried a child, delivered a child, given away a child, and somehow kept it hidden for 15 years. How? Why? And most importantly, who was the father? The answer came from Sarah's journal, a thick blue notebook hidden beneath the letters. I almost didn't read it. It felt wrong, too personal, too invasive. Then I remembered she was dead. And whatever answers existed were inside those pages. The first entries were ordinary: work stress, family drama, daily life. Then I found the entry, the one dated 16 years earlier, and my entire world stopped, because the father wasn't another man. The father was me. 16 years earlier, Sarah became pregnant. My child. Our child. But there was a problem. At the time I was drowning, debt, alcohol, anger, bad decisions. I wasn't abusive, but I wasn't stable either. The journal described arguments I'd forgotten, promises I'd broken, nights I came home drunk, nights I didn't come home at all. Reading it felt like meeting a version of myself I hated. Then I found the line that destroyed me. I love Daniel, but I don't trust him to be a father right now. I couldn't breathe. Because she wasn't wrong. She wasn't wrong at all. Sarah didn't hide the pregnancy because she didn't love me. She hid it because she was terrified. Terrified that I'd ruin our daughter. Terrified I'd become the father she never had. Terrified I'd choose alcohol over family. So she made an impossible choice. She carried Lily to term, placed her for adoption, then returned, and never spoke of it again. The guilt consumed her. The journal proved it. Every birthday she wrote a letter. Every Christmas she bought a gift she never sent. Every milestone she recorded for 15 years. She never forgot. Not once. Then I found something else. A stack of drawings. Children's drawings. Crayon drawings. Stick figures. Birthday cards. One drawing showed a little girl holding hands with 2 adults. Above them were written 4 words: Mommy, Daddy, and me. Sarah had kept it all these years. I broke down crying because my daughter had spent her entire life imagining a family she'd never have, and I didn't even know she existed. 3 months later, I met Lily. I was terrified, more terrified than on my wedding day, more terrified than at Sarah's funeral, because there are some moments in life that can never be repeated. First meetings are one of them. She looked exactly like Sarah. Same smile, same eyes, same habit of biting her lip when nervous. For a second I forgot how to speak. Then she asked, "Did you know about me?" The honest answer was no. The painful answer was also no. And somehow that made it worse. Lily already knew about Sarah. The adoption agency had arranged contact years earlier. Sarah secretly visited, secretly wrote letters, secretly attended school events from a distance. Everything. I wasn't the secret. I was the missing piece. Then Lily told me something that shattered whatever remained of my heart. She said, "My mom used to sit in the back row at my school plays." I blinked, confused. Then she clarified, "Not my adoptive mom, Sarah." I felt tears forming, because while I was living my life, Sarah was watching ours from the shadows, alone. Before she died, Sarah wrote one final letter. The last letter in the box. The last thing she'd ever say to me. It read, "If you're reading this, I'm gone. There's something I've carried for 16 years, a secret, a mistake, a choice I don't know if I regret. I protected Lily, but I also took her father away. Maybe I was right, maybe I was wrong. What I know is this: You became the man I always hoped you'd become. And if it's not too late, I hope you find her. I must have read that letter 100 times. Last month, Lily turned 16. I attended her birthday party. The first one I'd ever attended, 16 years late. At one point, everyone gathered for photos. Family members, friends, parents, grandparents, people who had been there her entire life. I stood in the corner, not quite sure where I belonged. Then, Lily looked across the room, smiled, and waved me over. Just one gesture. Simple, small, but devastating. Because in that moment, I realized something. People think regret comes from what you did. Sometimes, it comes from what you never had the chance to do. I never taught her to ride a bike, never helped with homework, never scared away her first bad boyfriend, never carried her on my shoulders, never heard her call me dad when she was little. Those moments are gone forever. No apology can bring them back. No explanation can replace them. No amount of love can recreate them. And that's the part that hurts. Not that I lost 16 years. It's knowing that somewhere inside those 16 years were some of the best days of my life. And I never got to live them. So if you're wondering whether Sarah made the right choice, I honestly don't know. Maybe she protected Lily. Maybe she protected me. Maybe she protected both of us. What I do know is this. Every year on Lily's birthday, I visit Sarah's grave. I tell her about school, about friends, about dreams, about the daughter we both loved. Then, before I leave, I always say the same thing. The thing I wish I'd said 16 years earlier. The thing she deserved to hear. The thing that came far too late. Thank you for finding a way to bring her back to me. And every single time, I leave wondering what our lives would have looked like if fear hadn't made our choices for us. Some secrets die with the people who keep them. Others survive, waiting years for someone to uncover the truth. If tonight's confession stayed with you, let me know in the comments. What would you have done? Would you have made the same choice? Or would you have chosen differently? I read as many comments as I can, and some of the most powerful stories come from this community. And if you're new here, subscribe to Confessions After Midnight for more true-to-life confessions, hidden secrets, family betrayals, shocking revelations, and stories that stay with you long after the screen goes dark. Because somewhere, right now, someone is carrying a secret they haven't told a soul. And one day, that secret may become a confession. This has been Confessions After Midnight, where every secret has a story, and every story leaves a scar. Good night, and be careful what you bury.